How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. And I just wanted to tell you guys about my experience at 2023 Motor City Comic Con. It was cool. I'm gonna tell you guys what I liked, what I didn't like, what I picked up, and who I got to talk to. So yeah, check it out. So this is my third year, and I know this because I've accidentally been collecting the programs. This is 2022. This year's 23 and 21. Just by accident. I didn't really even notice I had all of them until I was like, tidying up in here. And I'm gonna say this year was definitely by far the most packed that I've ever been. Like, it was so packed that cell phone signals was down. And that's usually something you expect from like C2E2 or New York Comic Con. Like when I went to those, airplane mode all day, but when I went to Motor City Comic Con, it didn't really have that issue. But this year we did have that issue. It was so bad that a lot of vendors were going to cash only. And then there was a lot of people crowding all the boxes. It was really bad. Everybody was just like boss hogging the boxes, bro. It was a free for all. It kind of reminded me of like a newborn puppy litter when they're like, trying to jockey for position so they can, secure a nipple and right underneath their mom and stuff like that. That's the way I felt, man. I was like trying to wait for my opportunity so I can jump in and secure a nipple. But at the end of the day, I ended up just spending a lot more time in Artist Alley than I usually do. And I did pick up a few books, but not a whole lot. First thing, so anyways, I went with my sister and I went with my cousin. And my sister, she's been getting into like some Venom, Spider-Man stuff. Like that seems to be something that she likes. Well, anyways, we stopped by, talked to this artist. He was really cool. His name's Steve Messenger. You can find him at stevemessenger.art. And he does some really good art, man. This is a print my sister bought for me. And it's signed by him. So, really cool art. I really like it. Love this Ghost Rider piece. Whenever I pull out my Ghost Rider stuff and display it, this is probably gonna go right along with it. So really cool stuff. He does like all the characters, Ninja Turtles, Venom and stuff. And he did have an original piece of Venom, and I was like really tempted to pick it up just because it's so good. So yeah, this is from my sister, so I really appreciate that. It's really cool. All right. So one of the main people that I wanted to get signatures from was Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. They were both there. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with those guys are the creators of the definitive Venom run. All right. Whenever anybody wants to know what, oh, hey, man, I want to get into Venom. What should I read first? I was like, dude, you should read Donny Cates' Venom. Like, it's very comprehensive, very easy to understand. Well, anyways, I took my omnibus with me, carried it around and stuff like that, and then I ended up getting it signed by them. So that's Ryan Stegman with the Ryan Stegosaurus signature, Donny Cates, and Donny Cates did like a little Venom remark. So that's really cool stuff, man. Really appreciate that. Ryan Stegman did make a remark about me carrying this stuff around, and I was like, man, it's totally worth it. I don't mind it. And one thing that I really like about getting my hardcover signed is that it makes my library hardcovers unique. I think it makes them special because you can just pull a book off my shelf and you can open it up and you don't never know. It might be a signature in there. There might be a remark. There might be a sketch. You never know. And I think that's what makes my hardcover collection a little bit different and a little bit special. So very cool. I liked it. Totally worth it. Another artist that I wanted to meet was Jeff Deckel, who is known for his variant covers. And this is a variant cover for one of the Poison Ivy issues. I believe it's 7. Might be 7. I think it's 7. And he signed this for me. I'm gonna have to get a different frame for it, but you can kind of see it a little bit in there, a little bit part of the signature. And this is a very nice high quality print. Like it's really thick, really glossy. Like it's glossy, and then it's the inking on it, the printing is very fine. Like there's no blurriness to this at all. This is a very high quality print. And like I said, I'm gonna have to get a another frame with a thinner border, so you can see the signatures on there. But I also took a comic book, the same one. So I ended up taking a comic book as well, the issue 7 with this cover on it, and I got that signed by him too. And I ended up getting that witnessed by. So I ended up getting that witnessed by CBCS. Even though on the website Motor City Comic Con advertised that CGC was going to be there, they were not. It was just CBCS. And you guys know, if you don't know, I just don't mess with CBCS too much, because the one time I sent them a batch of Signature Series books, they had my books for over a year, guys. Over a year, which is fine, whatever. You got backed up. But the biggest problem I had with them is that they were never communicated with me. I sent them emails, every couple months or whatever. I wasn't even bugging. Like, I was every couple months just giving them time to respond. And they never responded to me. I sent them messages on their Instagram, never got anything. It got to the point where I was like tagging them in memes and making fun of them. And they still didn't send anything. They definitely weren't answering then. But I don't know. I just feel like if they're gonna be expecting me to hand over hundreds or even thousands of dollars worth of comic books to them, to hold them, for them to provide a service, the least they could do is give me a phone call, or at least communicate with me, and at least to give me a runaround. You know what I mean? Like, hey, yeah, we got them books. They're fine. We'll get to them. Whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, I just thought that whole communication stuff, the lack of communication was just bad. It was just bad for me. But anyways, they were the only option here, so I went ahead and did it. I mean, I could have gotten it raw, but I do love my yellow labels. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab one of you guys and just submit one book. And just was talking to those guys at the booth. It was a guy. He was pretty cool. The guy that witnessed my stuff, he was pretty cool, man. Just talked to him. They were talking to me about like their new magazine, cases. I asked them if they had one on hand so I could take a look at it. Unfortunately, I didn't have one on hand. I did ask him about UV protection, and he like asked this other guy that was there, and the guy went like on this rant about like, you gotta be dumb to put up your comic books on the window and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, chill, man. It was like, what if I want to like show off my stuff to my neighbor? Gotta let my neighbors know what's up. Like let them know I got some CBCS Signature Series, and of course I was joking. I don't know if he heard me or if he understood the joke, but I get it. Like, but at the same time, it's like no collector is displaying their stuff on the window. At least I hope they're not. And that, because that's just collecting 101, right? What the thing is though, all light emits UV, even if it's just a little bit of UV, like where doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but it's enough to where it can damage the book. It can fade the books over time. So, you know what I mean? Even LEDs, I think, contain a little bit because they contain, light from the entire spectrum. But whatever, I wasn't gonna sit there and talk science to this guy. I was like, I'm out of here, bro. So, anyways, cool stuff. So, anyways, submitted the book, got it signed. Hopefully, it won't take too long for it to come back. I did get another book signed by Jeff Deck. I picked up this Batman 181. This is a facsimile of the first appearance of Poison Ivy. Originally, I wanted the Poison Ivy one with the green cover on it, but this is the only one I found there. And Jeff Deckel signed it right there. That's his signature right there. And then I also got the writer, Amy Chu, to get a signature there as well. And she was nice. She was pretty friendly. I felt kind of bad for her because Run DMC was there, and some of you guys know hip hop, that he's like a hip hop legend, and her booth was right next to him, so there was a huge crowd just all around Run DMC's booth, and it kind of just overshadowed her, so she was kind of just stuck in the back. So anyways, if you guys aren't familiar with her, she wrote Poison Ivy miniseries from back in the day, I think early about 2010, 2011. and it's Poison Ivy Cycle of Life and Death. And she kind of like digs into the whole eco-terrorism kind of deal. So yeah, pick this up. And one of my goals is to get creators of any creator that worked on Poison Ivy, just to get them to do some signatures on here. So obviously one of the priorities is going to be G. Willow Wilson and Marcio Takada. So, and got some space on the back. All right. All right, so booklets for books, comic books. I didn't pick up a whole lot. Like I said, it was like super busy and I just didn't feel like digging in. It just wasn't in me, you know what I mean? However, the last half hour, I was just kind of on my way out. I was kind of moseying around, going through the books and stuff. And then I stopped at this one booth, Lantern Comics. You can find them on Instagram, Lantern_comics. And I was just there like with my cousin and we were just talking about books. Like I was pointing out like, oh, this is first this, first that. And then he would ask me questions, you know, and I was like just trying to educate him, you know what I mean? Because I love talking about comic books. And one of the dealers there, you know, started talking to me as well. And he started, you know, sharing some knowledge with me as well. And his name's Tim and he runs Lantern Comics and we just talked about books and stuff like that. I asked him about if he had any original art. And you can see his face just light up and how excited he was. And he pulled out his portfolio. And on his portfolio, he had a lot of stuff that he's collected over the years. So he had like some Neil Adams stuff in there. He had some Neto Diaz and George Perez. He had a George Perez, Mike Guerrero stuff and everything. But he also had like some lesser known artists, which is kind of cool always to see those. He showed me this piece by a Polish artist, all pencil. I'm gonna post it right here. I took a picture of it. Not for sale, and this is just awesome. This is with Flash just running by Marilyn Monroe in her dress just flying up, and that's just like a really iconic Marilyn Monroe's pose. And yeah, I agree with him. I'm surprised that no one's thought about that like for a variant cover or anything. So very cool. It's not for sale. It's part of his PC collection. And I think that's one of my favorite things is when people like show me their stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I collect. Not necessarily stuff they're selling, but like, hey man, this is the stuff I love. This is the stuff I collect. So excellent experience. And even though I didn't buy anything from him, when I go back to Motor City Comic Con, I'm going to make it a priority to see if he's up there and just try to stop by. Anyways, and also stopped by another booth and we just had a bunch of like Bronze Age horror stuff. So I just went in there and I just found a few things, man. I only picked up 3 books. Tres. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. All right. The first one I picked up was Chamber of Darkness, number 6. There's a little 15 center right here, boy. And I just love the colors. I think it was the colors on this one. They just absolutely pop. Pop, 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 pop. And the fountain house, the perspective of the guy falling off, you know, the whole carnival scene. It just looks great. Looks awesome. All right. Next one, it was something I'm a little bit more familiar with, and that's House of Secrets stuff, DC Bronze Age horror stuff. Don't know who the artist is. It's Frank Robbins. That's what it says on there. So this is a book that I passed up when I saw it in the wild, and I've always thought about it, man. I've always thought, like, man, I really wish I would have picked that book up. So I found it there, pretty reasonable price. Love the purple cover, ice cream. Looks awesome. Looks pretty gnarly. Also picked up, my favorite pickup was this House of Mystery number 219. And this one just looks really nice. I don't know who the artist is. If I can find it, I'll post it on the little subtitles right here. But look at that. Look at that boy right there. He's just playing with that little baby croc. His homeboy is in the back and he's like, yeah, man. What they don't know is that mama's coming through and she's about to feed her babies, man. So love the colors. Look at the sunset, the moss hanging off the trees, the detail here, the water falling off the croc. Yeah, this is definitely an awesome cover. Very awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love that DC horror stuff. So yeah, man, that's it for Motor City Comic Con 2023. Had a good time. It was a little crowded and the nachos were like pretty pedestrian, but other than that, man, it was a good experience. And I hope that with these big crowds, they might draw even more artists and more talents over to Michigan. So yeah, on to the next one, man. I'll see you guys. All right, you guys take care. Peace.